Guten Erev Shabbos. Last Sunday night, I was walking back from the old city of Yerushalayim to our hotel, and I met a Yid named Reb Zalman. And Reb Zalman shared the following. He visits the Tel HaShomer hospital, where many of the injured soldiers recover. And generally, it's a very inspiring experience because the soldiers, even though many of them are severely injured and wounded, they're very inspiring to hear their commitment to Eretz Yisrael and to their mission. But there was one time he came into a room and he met a soldier who had lost his leg, and the soldier was very, very down. And the atmosphere in the room was extremely intense, to the point that Reb Zalman had to walk out of the room. He walks out of the room and he meets a person who was walking normally, but the fellow tells him that he lost both of his legs during the Yom Kippur War. And he said he came to Crown Heights, part of a group of soldiers who came to the Rebbe, and he said, the Rebbe gave me back my feet. Now, of course, he had prosthetics, but what he meant was that the Rebbe gave him the inspiration to live and to make something of his life, despite the fact that he'd had this horrible injury and he lost both his legs. He says, the Rebbe gave me $1, and I have that dollar with me, and it keeps me going. So Reb Zalman says to this fellow, can you do me a favor? There's a soldier who just recently lost one of his legs. Can you come and help him, to give him some chizuk, give him some inspiration? So they walk in together, and the fellow tells the soldier, the young soldier, the 19-year-old soldier just lost his leg. He tells him the story and how he came to the Rebbe and he got $1. So the soldier says, I'm glad that you got $1, but I never got $1 from the Rebbe. Now Reb Zalman carried on him $1 from the Rebbe, which he had received from the Rebbe the day of his wedding, a very, very important $1. And he thought to himself, should I give it? Shouldn't I give it? In life you got to make choices. There are priorities. What do I do? And he ultimately decided to give the $1 that he'd been carrying around in his pockets for all these years to this soldier, which lifted up his spirits, having received $1 from the Rebbe. Which brings me to this week's Parsha. Bnei Gad and Bnei Ruvain say to Moshe Rabbeinu in their discussion and the negotiations about staying on the other side of the Jordan, they say to Moshe Rabbeinu, we will build pens for our livestock and we'll build cities for our children. And Moshe Rabbeinu rebukes them for first mentioning their livestock before mentioning their children. Moshe says there are priorities in life. And before we think about what's doing with our livestock, with our parnasa, with our sustenance, we need to think about what's doing with our children. You see, in life we need to make choices. There are priorities, and we should always be guided by the choice that I'll make will further my personal mission and further the world's perfection and elevation. In a couple of weeks, we will be celebrating a yeshiva dinner honoring Rabbi and Mrs. Friedman. These are two individuals who chose to commit themselves to yeshiva above and beyond caring for their own personal needs. Their priorities were always the yeshiva, the children, the parents, the community. Please join us on August 4th in celebrating two people who committed themselves to yeshiva, made these choices in their life, and by doing so, we'll both honor them and we'll honor yeshiva. Have a wonderful Shabbos.